So most of us stuck to varying degrees in less than present behaviors. What is less than present behavior? I put you in a situation and after 6 hours ask you to write a note on 8 parameters I give. You are able to write a note on 3 parameters unsatisfactorily, which means you are less than present. Gautam Buddha. So somebody, after he got his enlightenment and all that, so he was traversing some of his known areas. So somebody asked him, so you are a god? He said, no. Then somebody told him, you are a saint. He said, no. Then he says, you are a man of wisdom. He says, no. Then he says, what are you? He says, I am awake. So you just have to be awake. That is nearly all. So being awake is an excellent down-to-earth way of describing the quality of presence that we need when dealing with a conflict. Next. It is less about what the mediators know or can do than about who they are. So the experience which presence should provide has a great analogy in wine. UN Secretary General is the person, a man whose life is conflict-ridden. He heads the United Nations peacekeeping operations across the globe. So he says that you have listened to the voice within you better than you hear what is sounding outside. But I'll take it to the rider that you can listen to the voice inside you if you are comfortable conversing with the voice outside you. If you get involved in the clutter outside, there is no question that there will be a voice inside. And if there is no voice inside, then there is nothing to hear. So voice inside gets created only when you are comfortable with all the issues which afflict that conflict as an external interface, being present both in time and space. Next. You practice as a reliable witness. Be present even in face of fear. If I ask you now that in 2 lines, you tell me what I've been speaking for last 1.5 hours. So even in face of that threat, you have to perform. So even in face of fear, you be present. Next. Pay attention to energy, clarify your motivation, promote essence meetings, cultivate quiet patience. Next. What is inquiry all about? Inquiry is a very simple process by which we are able to elicit complete information about the conflict itself. So it unlocks essential and spiritual resources to witnessing ourselves and the conflict which we are a part. Next. So this is inquiry all about, wherein there are a couple of questions. If you are able to answer those questions, I think you are reasonably through with the conflict to the manner regarding the origin, the nature, the likely solution, and the external resources and support systems which you would require to resolve that particular conflict or crisis. You know a couple of things. Whatever field the professional might be in, we know a couple of things. If there is a rat situation in Davangere, there are a lot many things I know. What else can I learn about that situation? Is there some useful, perhaps vital information which I lack? That is most important. That if you don't have the right input and you want to take decisions, your decision would be faulty. Most often than not, we cannot undo these decisions. Any decision which is taken in a conflict situation has to be right. Otherwise, posterity will prove that you have been whatever you are, without using that word. Do I truly understand the way others see the situation? A police officer looks at a situation from a different angle. Anyway, I don't have a holistic approach. I don't have integral vision. I don't have systems thinking. That is what has been talked about day in and day out. Okay, that accepted. But you have to accept the fact that police officer has his own line of thinking. He has his colored vision. Okay, Now, there is some other also school of thought. There are other visions also. So, unless we get into the totality of vision, you will not be able to give a realistic solution. You will not be able to give a solution which is acceptable to all the parties. And what we are talking about through this whole lecture is that the solution is not a win and lose situation. It is a win-win situation for everybody. It is a solution to the conflict, and it is not a solution to the man. It is not a solution to the adversary. It is not a solution to one part. It is a solution to the whole. Most of the issues, there is a inquiry deficit. You take anything. You take the 2G report. People are talking about this part has not been attended. That part has not been attended. There is extrapolation. There is exaggeration. The type of tools which has been used for this report. So people have their own pluses and minuses about it. But there is no denying the fact, when you get into inquiry reports, when you get into judicial proceedings, when you get into independent inquiries by Public Union of Civil Liberties or any organization or an auditing agency or Justice Verma's report or whatever, there is certainly a serious inquiry deficit. So, the issue has not been inquired upon, has not been holistically inquired upon, has not been systemically inquired upon before a decision was taken and before they proceeded with whatever blueprint they had to resolve the issue. Inquiry, I think the best story regarding inquiry pertains to Muhammad Yunus, Nobel Peace Prize for micro loans. Okay, so I stand corrected. So it is for microfinance. He is a Fulbright scholar, having studied in the US, I presume, came back to Bangladesh. Might be he also loved talking. So he started asking a lady by name Sufia a couple of questions. At the end of those questions, he realized that the whole issue of quality of her life revolved around some 22 cents, that is all. Some 50-100 rupees taka of Bangladesh. And he decided that the issue is so small that he can handle himself. And in the next couple of months, he gave a loan of $27. How many individuals would have gained out of $27? Can anybody take a try? Loan of $27. It's not to one person. 42 hard-working villagers, they gained out of those $27. And that was the beginning of my, what my friend says as microfinance. And what happened next was history. And a better word which is being used here is micro-lending. Correct? No, or is it wrong? So micro-lending, and the bank which got created as a micro-lending bank was Grameen Bank in Bangladesh, which today has a disbursed loan amount of $2.5 billion. Correct. This extraordinary man and this extraordinary achievement would not have taken place if there was no sense of inquiry. If you don't have a sense of inquiry, inquiry is not going to happen. Next. Make your questions count. Remember that interrogation is not inquiry. It is inquiry especially with those you hate and also with those you love. What happens? We have extreme faith on people whom we love. And history has taught us that in most cases they're not. In more cases than not, they shouldn't have been loved. Or we should not have deposed that sort of a faith in them so as to get cheated on fine day. There are people who are unreached, who are unheard. This whole of, I think, most probably the whole of continent of Africa is unheard. So we come to conscious conversation. and I'm indulging in conscious conversation with you. I've decided the place, I've decided the time, I've decided the nature of conversation, and I've decided not to listen to you for first 1.5 hours, inclusive of the tea break. So developing our awareness of the full range of choices, when to speak and when to listen. Next. So we have a choice and how to speak, and listening, I think you have to listen to things so many times which are not audible, which is not voice. You get that information in different ways. Most of the time, conversation turns rather arbitrarily and unconsciously. You go to a situation, people are talking, I also start talking. Finally, we end up in something. The issue is lost, the time is lost, and the problem remains unresolved. Next. So what distinguishes conscious conversation with mere communication is that we are mindful of how, at that moment, we are choosing to speak and listen. Next. There are very clear-cut ground rules under which conscious conversation can take place. That is respect, fairness, listening, openness, privacy, and commitment. And to best of my understanding, if you don't have a listening skill, I don't think you have the right to talk. Next. And range of discourse of the mediator. There are basically 8 types of discourses, starting from a street brawl to reflective silence. There is also a great variety of discourse where it can happen because of 2 things. Either you are completely ignorant or you are an enlightened one. For rest of us, it ranges between debate, presentation, question answer, discussion, negotiation, interest-based negotiation and position-based counsel, dialogue, and finally reflective silence. This is the mediator's tool as far as the discourse is concerned. So these are the tools in different combinations he uses. Next. Let go of winning arguments. What we want when we argue, we want to win. And this is this comfort zone business. So I'll argue, I'll make everybody enemy, I will create a disclaimer, I've got a database. So this is, after those 3-4 soft tools of preparation, we come to dialogue. And dialogue is something which prepares you to bridge the gaps and finally to come with an innovative solution. There is a yearning everywhere to have a deep, honest, inclusive, and respectful dialogue. Fundamentally different frames of reference. How many people are ready to talk to people who have fundamentally different terms of reference? There are very few people. Next. So application generally, it is on the threshold of dialogue mainly. Is there a threshold of hope? You feel that, okay, you are about to clinch the issue. Whereas negotiation, the issue still remains very far. And negotiations, to me, somehow, it gives a feeling as if it is a very protracted sort of a labor union affair. Something which might not yield into a solution is my intuition of negotiation, and something which would lead to hope and further resolution of the issue, I feel, is dialogue. Next. So dialogue is not about the physical art of talking at all. It is about minds unfolding. If I can read Arvind Sinha's mind, whatever he talks is immaterial. It is just like a girl who says, I hate you, but she actually loves you. So you have to read the mind. Unless you are able to read the mind of your adversary, unless you are able to read what the stakeholders think and feel, you will reach nowhere. There will be hardly any person in this world who does not have duplicity of personality and will tell you everything about himself. I have not met anybody. If you people are meeting every day, you people are lucky. Otherwise, mera kaam nahi hua, mera ye nahi hua. So that is the thing which we hear day in and day out. You listen to things which the Americans express and the American media expresses, the word nation is used again and again and again. The word US is used again and again. The word America is used again and again. In any of our proclamations, we find it missing. We don't say Karnataka does this, India does this, Delhi feels like this, Bangalore feels like that. That is the unison of our minds. That is the unison of our thought process. We belong because that totality is there, that whole is there. None of us have any relevance in a system where totality is not there. Next. So this is the bridging process. The first process is our mindset itself. Next. And that we has to be a durable lead. Leaders who are mediators will outperform who aren't because they know how to build the partnerships and alliances. 3 characteristics: equity, transparency, and mutual benefit. You will come to me if you are convinced of the fact that I deal you as equal. You will not come to me when you are convinced of the fact that I'll cheat you. You will not come to me if I'm not transparent, I'm opaque. You will not come to me if I cannot give you some learning, some knowledge. Why should you waste 3 hours with me? Doesn't make any sense at all. And finally, mutual benefit. You call sharing as the best way to live. You say collaboration is the future of mankind. All these words which have come into vogue very simply means mutual benefit. All of us gain. All stakeholders are able to achieve at least some part of the stake. It should not happen that somebody goes away with the cake and the only pleasure which you get of the cake is seeing somebody running away with the cake. I don't think that is the experience I would like to have with the cake. Next. Anything in life, one step at a time. Yesterday there were a couple of questions by youngsters where they wanted to achieve success and celebrity status by one stroke. That one stroke by which we got independence was also after about 100 years of sheer hard work. So that one stroke, nothing happens. You start working on it, a step at a time, and go ahead. Bridge idealism and practicality. We say, honesty is so nice, he is hardworking. Somebody told me, I made 109 slides over the night. I was talking for 6 hours yesterday also. Sir, you are very hardworking, sir, good sir, you remain like this. But I will not be hardworking. Correct. Whether it is idealism or practicality is left to you to decide. Correct. For him it is idealism, for me it is practicality. I cannot come here unprepared. Whatever my other commitments would be, is one simple dictum which is told in all our meetings. You have come for this meeting, you talk about the agenda points of this meeting. We are not interested to know what other things you are doing. We are not interested to know about your family or child. We are not interested to know what your accomplishments are. You have come here to discuss the cash chest movement of Reserve Bank of India across South India. Please discuss that. If you don't know, you are useless. You should not have come. No, sir, I have got Nobel Peace Prize. You take the Peace Prize and go. This is not the place. We are talking about cash chest movement. Why are you talking about Nobel Prize? Then my friend will say, I know microfinance. We are talking of physical transportation of cash chest. So there ends the matter. Next. No, not that fast. Think like a minority, raise the level of the game, learn bridging by doing it, and think in terms of webs.